You can't change your life until you can actually relax. And right now, you're not relaxed completely because your mind is still being stimulated either from scrolling on YouTube, watching TV, whatever you're doing. You cannot relax with electronic devices. And when I share my experiences of how I came to this realization, trust me, it will be very relatable and you'd understand just how much you're not relaxed right now. And then you will also find out how much power you can take back from yourself, the control you need to eventually create the habits that you want, where you take consistent action, where you're improving the results that you're making on your self-improvement journey to eventually achieve the goals that you've set yourself for this year in 2025. I'm here to help you with every single step of the way there. And this video will help you get that control so that you can finally get back on track. You're not relaxed just yet. And when I share my story, you'll understand exactly how this all falls to place. I was an iPad kid about 4 to 5 years old, and that addiction had continued for nearly 10 years till I was about 15 or 16. That's over 10 years, excuse me. And that's where I first broke my addiction as I committed myself to the path of self-improvement. Something that I would never regret and be forever grateful for. And now that I'm looking back to my childhood, a lot of it was attached to screens, electronic devices such as my iPad, my phone, and my Xbox as well. Whether I spent a lot of time hanging out with friends on online games or going to my friend's house to play those games, or whether it's just watching YouTube most of the time and finding a lot of funny content to watch. There was nothing like brain rot back then. There was no real brain rot in my opinion, where in comparison to what we've got right now in these days. If I grew up with an iPad kid addiction right now, in today's world, oh my goodness, I don't know where I would be right now as I'm 17 years old. But when looking back at it from my perspective right now, I've always had struggles with falling asleep back in my childhood. I've always had a few minor problems with anxiety and depression, only on the very extreme part of it, where I spent over 5 hours a day on screens. That's only small. Trust me, when I'm looking back at it right now, I would have exaggerated it back then and said, oh, it's just nothing, everything's fine, it's fine. Whereas it wasn't really fine. And I needed a break mentally, not physically. Physically, I was in very good shape, but mentally, I was not in good shape. Those negative thoughts came creeping in through the back door, lurking in the depths of my mind, and I didn't know how to get them out. That was until my screen time reduced to about 3 hours a day. That's still quite a lot, you could consider, but that was significantly better than what I had, were 6, 7, even 8 hours a day. That was only during the school holidays. When school came around, everything became fine. But yeah, I couldn't control my addiction back then. My mental health wasn't the best. My physical health was alright, but I was still making unhealthy choices regardless. And if you're still in a state of just stress, anxiety, or something like that, where it's very, very bad mental health, you make unhealthy decisions. If you're unhealthy mentally, you make unhealthy decisions physically. That is a great way of putting it. But if you're very healthy mentally, that means you're going to make healthier decisions a lot more easier than making unhealthy decisions. Because if you're feeling extremely positive, If you're feeling extremely relaxed and grateful right here, right now, and you have a choice to eat an apple or a chocolate cake, I know this sounds very silly. You would choose the apple 99% of the time. And you would choose the chocolate cake only if you're feeling very unhealthy mentally. Whether your thoughts were not clear enough, you had a lot of negativity going on, you're still stressed out and you're not relaxed. Relaxation is the key to get rid of all of that stuff, by the way. Relaxation is the key to eliminate all of that negative garbage in your mind. And that's without stimulation. And I found that out a couple of weeks ago where I just spent, and again, I fell back into my addiction, I'll be honest. I spent about 5 hours on my phone instead of Xbox, because I don't play Xbox anymore. But anyways, I spent 5 hours on my phone just on YouTube. Most of it was in the morning, and then in the afternoon as well. I finished my day off like that. And I'm looking back, I've made no progress. And all I did was stare at my screen. Guess how I felt about that? I felt that I couldn't control anything. That makes sense, right? When you spend so much of your time on your addiction like that, you don't feel like you can pull yourself out of it. Until you can relax properly. I needed to relax. I was physically exhausted from running, but I just needed to relax as well because my mind was running full speed constantly because of the stimulation. I wasn't doom scrolling, I was just watching content I shouldn't have been watching. We all know how that feels. And then the next day, I set myself a test. I was going to spend 15 minutes outside in the sunshine, just sit back on my chair and relax without meditating. Just let my thoughts do whatever, think whatever thoughts that come up in my mind, and just see how much energy I get back. And within 10 minutes, I felt motivated to do hard work. I did not think I would feel motivated to do something like that. I felt motivated to get myself back on track. And that is something that I will never forget. 10 minutes of resting outside or inside without any stimulation is so much better than spending 2 hours resting than with staring at your screens for that long of time. Oh my goodness, it's a lifesaver that I've learned that lesson. And thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video. Your attention span, it's true, if you made it this far, your attention span is incredibly healthy right now. You're very determined and you're very committed on your journey in life. And I respect that completely. You made it this far into the video, you understand the lessons I've learned, and I thank you for listening to my story because that gets a lot off my chest and it makes me feel a lot better about myself. I'm here to help you consistently improve every single day, 1% better for the rest of our lives consistently, and I'm not going to stop. I may have fallen out of consistency, that may happen again in the future, but I'm not going to stop because this is my passion right here, right now. And right now, you deserve so much more respect. I genuinely appreciate all the support that you've given me from taking your time out of your day to watch this video. And you deserve to genuinely achieve your goals. And you are on track right here, right now, after watching this video, because when you relax completely, you gain so much control physically and mentally as well. And that is something that we should never forget on our journeys in life, because together we will win.